Some of the things that come from military service or a candidate that has served is some of these soft skills and maturity that comes with time. Some of that comes about naturally anyways, but it happens fast in that environment, I've learned. So the candidate that can articulate that, that can bring that to the table, that's what we're desperate for. We're desperate for a teammate, a new teammate that's going to add value to our team, to our mission set, who's going to come in and make us better, take us to the next level, right? That's what comes across with, I'm sure what came across in Rico's interview and would come across as a panelist to me, if they were able to connect those dots. Look, there's nothing like learning about the industry that you're going into. It's the same industry. We work in the same industry, but we work at different organizations. Different organizations have different needs. They staff differently. So learn about the industry and then fine-tune your hunt. Learn about what you're looking for. What do you want out of a job? What is that organization? What is available to me? What do I need to do to be the person that they're looking for? That's the qualifications pursuit. So much of that stuff comes with wherever you come from in life. I mean, you can bring value from anywhere, but so much of it comes from, in this environment, just talking about veterans and their service, so much comes from that, again, the connective tissue between when you show up as a firefighter and you prepare your gear and you train and you keep yourself prepared to go out and perform a mission. You go out and you train with your coworkers, with your teammates, you go out and perform that mission, you rinse and repeat, you come back and do it again. A service member has lived that. They had a mission and they had a team and they were a cog in the wheel and they know exactly how to fall into like Rico says, I love it, he says the choreography of the team or the team choreography. The more you learn about that, then it's just easier to set your pathway in front of you. Well, now it's about collecting resources, collecting mentors, finding your helpers, and just getting the ball moving as fast as you can. I mean, the reality is, like Rico experienced, is right now is a great time. Right now is an excellent time to be jumping into this industry, from stuff like this that's going on, this conversation, to try and provide people with that information. I hope this reaches a large audience so that more and more folks can see what Rico saw, what I got lucky with, that it's an attainable career and that looks like it's a good fit for me. What do I got to do? All right, now let's go get it. But it's that conversation. Now there's a new conversation, the interview. After you've gotten your qualifications and you come in to interview, that's where we're picking our team. That's where a candidate is bringing all that to the table, and their situational awareness, them knowing what we need in a candidate, knowing what they bring to the table as a candidate, and being able to bridge that gap.
That's the part that might sink you, or you might be swimming, is being able to translate that information in the interview. It sucks if you get one attempt at it, right? And if you don't get another attempt for a long time, you might be out of practice, or you might not be in rhythm or cadence. So I think that's what's huge for candidates that are transitioning out of the military, is that you have that to draw upon, but get as many mock interviews as you can. Record yourself. I did the awkward stuff of staring at myself in the mirror. I would do interviews for family members. I would recite my answers while driving, and just to get that confidence of talking and saying it, because you're going to get in front of there and you're going to be dry mouthed and you're going to be just nervous and nerves take over. But being able to get into the interview and just articulate that hard work that you put in, you got to be able to get it out.
Any tips on how to woosah in that moment?
Lasana, I got so lucky. I was on my last couple of weeks in the military, and I got stuck at this one post I didn't want to be at. It was at ID cards. And anyone in the military will tell you ID cards is you got to deal with everybody, and they're not always professional. But I had a lady come in, and she was a retired Army, and she's I was trying to help her. The computer was messing up. I'm feeling like it's on me. I'm like, it has nothing to do with me. Hey, I'm doing the best I can. And I'm all tight and crunchy. And she goes, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Rico." She's like, "Rico, why are you all stressed out? What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get this fixed for you, whatever. There's a lion backing up. There's babies crying." She's like, "Rico, is life, limb, or eyesight? Is your life in danger? Are you going to lose a limb? And then is your eyesight threatened?" "No, you're good." So relax, calm down, don't be stressed out. This is out of your control. I know this computer is not messing up because you're wanting to mess up. And she gave me some really good advice. She's like, I told her I was getting out. She's like, yeah, when you're getting out, you're on the other side, you're looking for jobs in the civilian world, they're going to be looking for you to stay calm, like not, blow up or lose your head or anything like that. So life limit eyesight is something I carry with me. I preach to my family and my friends. Like, it is something that I say to myself all the time. And I have people say it back to me, life limit eyesight. I'm like, you heard me, you heard me. So I think that's huge. So I would say that to give anyone calm or peace going into an interview, life limit eyesight, like, hey, you're here to talk about yourself. Like I said, you got to be your own advocate. Come in there and be calm and tell them what you already know, what your loved ones already know about you, and why you'll be a good fit for the organization.
I think a prepared candidate is a prepared candidate. The more that someone has done a self-assessment, the more that they've learned about what they're going to interview for, it can make it a natural conversation. I think the best advice I could give to someone that may be a little bit too in their head, or like you're describing like a composure, like they're not going to let themselves down, I would remind them that it's their interview. We are a paramilitary organization or industry or whatever, but we aren't the military. We have rank structure, but we're not all carbon copies of each other, and we're not expected to be. We live together. We play together. It is an extension of my family. My fire family is. And that's an amazing thing. That's a draw. That's what brings people into us. Remember that. Identify with that. That like, hey, it's not just a job interview. It's a family interview. And you have this moment, these 15 minutes with these 5 or 6 questions to teach 3, maybe 4 people who you are and how you as a team member will add value to their team, how the things that you have experienced and how you have prepared yourself has brought you to this moment, and you are prepared to now be a part of that team. I think that being prepared in that sense and knowing what you're bringing and knowing that you've went out and gotten the qualifications for that organization because you want to work there, I think that can center someone and that will focus them. Now, because we are speaking specifically to veterans, many veterans have done some hard duty. I've been involved with interviews where questions have brought up emotions. I think that a veteran would do themselves a service if they know that they're going to go into that stressful environment to maybe do some work on that. Identify like what things are going to cause emotions. I don't want to say things like triggers or anything like that, but we are trusted to have a very flexible interview process. So when that's happened to me on a panel recently, we see that coming. We can kind of hey, let's reset for a second. And the last time I can remember that happening, that continued on to be one of the best panels that I've sat on. There's potential to have some experiences that were a little harder that maybe someone else hadn't experienced. That could potentially bring tremendous value to the organization and to the team. But just recognize where you're at before you go into that stressful environment.
A large part of our audience are career changers. I was going to say advice, but maybe assistance.
Information.
Information for that demographic.
What I felt like set me apart during interviews was being as transparent as I could. Yeah, I leaned in on my military service, but I also had a whole life before the military. I had a whole bunch of exposures and, life that happened that I felt prepared me for that. So when you get the opportunity to sit in front of the captains and sit in front of the chiefs, don't discredit anything you've been through. I don't have a traditional upbringing. I was born into foster care. I spent time in foster care till I was 9 years old. I was adopted at 9, and I was adopted by a Caucasian mother. And those alone are experiences that are gonna shape you differently and give you a different outlook on life. And, I felt like, hey, you know what? Yeah, it's not traditional, it's not typical, but let me tell you why this has shaped me and made me unique, because I can operate in different cultures, I can operate around different people. I genuinely just meet people where they're at, because that's where I want to be met at. When you grow up in foster care, like, I've heard this term where it didn't make sense like elder, but there's no floor underneath you. And then as I got adopted and I was able to get some stability and start to set goals and be able to achieve them, like life took off. But before then, it was just me in the world by myself. So I leaned into that and let my interviewers know, like, hey, like this is who I am as a person. And through all that, still continue to pursue education and better myself and want to give back and inspire kids that have been in my position. And I think that's what always, like that 1%er in me always says, just serve. And lean into that once you get in your interview. But also too, have those skills, have those qualifications, be able to articulate that, and always show that constant growth and wanting to do more. And doors will open, but gotta be able to articulate it.
I was also adopted, and I've also made it out of that whole entire struggle, so kudos to you. Wow. Beautiful, beautifully stated.